Even in the next one, there is a space between each of them. Correct? Now, I had written over here print on the first line. I wrote print. And then I wrote print on the next line. I've said print all this. Now, but I did not tell that when you print the second line, it should print on the next line after you print this. Did I tell him? No, I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him that, when you print this particular line, second line, I didn't tell him that, first you finish this line and then you print this on the next line. No, I didn't tell him that. Then how did it know this? Or how was this done? Let's understand. Print is nothing but a function, as I told you. Print is nothing but a built-in function. And built-in functions in Python are nothing but functions which are already defined by Python initially itself. They have defined the function in such a way that you can pass parameters and you can change arguments, but they have already defined certain things. They have defined in their function print, saying that if you print 5 or 6 elements together in print, if you write 5 or 6 elements, the print will print each of them and put a separation of a space between each of them by default. Okay, by default, it will put a separation of space between each of them. But after doing the printing of each of these elements, where can we see this? Where can we see this happening? We can see this happening when we go to the documentation and check the print BIF. Go back, the built-in functions. Go to the print BIF. In the print, what does it say? It prints, it says first is you give me star objects. I'll explain to you star objects later. But it means you give me all the variable values, how many ever values you want, you give me. I will store them all in objects that you want to print. After that, this particular function has a definition. In that function, there is a default argument, or there's a keyword argument called a sep. Can you see this? And that keyword argument sep has a space between these, has a space as a default argument. The keyword argument sep in the print function has a default argument of a space, whereas the end is another keyword argument which has a default value of a backslash n. Does a default value of a backslash n? Oh, so what does it mean, sir? Print, what it says is, I will print all the objects, okay, to the output, and then all the objects will be separated by a sep, which means all the objects will be separated by a space, because the sep is going to be having a default argument of space, and then followed by end. End means what? After printing all the objects, the end is going to be a backslash n. That is why if you come back here, you'll understand after printing 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there was a default argument end of backslash n, resulting in the next line to be, resulting in this values to be printed on the next line. Are you able to understand? Now, how do I change it? I can change it by when I call the function. Let's say when I call the print function, I told you I can access whenever I call a function, as we saw here in the functions. In the functions, I can access a keyword parameter or keyword parameter b by saying when I call F1, I accessed one of the parameters of that particular, one of the keyword arguments of that particular function by saying b, and I said, please change the default argument. I don't want quantify. I want my argument to be passed to b, right? So what I can see over here is the same thing. I can say print 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I want a separation between them. I don't want them as space. I want as a comma. And then if I run this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 got a separation between them of a comma. It is no longer a space. As you can see here, there's no space between them, but there is a comma between them. I can do the same thing even for the next one. I can do the sep is going to be equal to a comma, which is going to be a string again. Alright? Correct? Yeah, a comma instead of a space. Default argument. But now, I want that these elements which are there here, I want that they should also be printed on the same line as this print function. How can I do that? I can do that by redefining by relighting even the end keyword argument in the print function, because end is currently \n. That is why it is giving a \n after the first print. I can change it by saying, let me give a semicolon at the end instead of giving a \n. Now if I run this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, semicolon, hi, hello, 7, 8.5 false. This does not get printed on the next line because the end of this print is a semicolon and it is not a new line \n. Hope you understand that. This is how you access keyword arguments in Python and give them a particular value. Hope this is clear. With this, we have completed functions, default arguments, along with keyword arguments. Hope this is very clear to you. And as we go ahead, we will use many of these keyword arguments in our applications. Clear? Thank you.